Hey, Will, Grassroots Fitness Project. I am at Tecumseh Playground. Let's see, Grassroots is kind of right there. So walking around the front is about 100 yards. Go into the playground. Make a note that the playground is closed during school days. So it'll open up at 3 o'clock. A dismissal is usually around 2:40. Sessions that start 3 o'clock and later, you can use this. It's usually has this big open area here. Usually I don't usually use that area. I just stick to the track. I stick to the line of benches to do push-ups. I will sometimes get the kids to throw heavier and heavier med balls into these 3 stages of baskets there. I use the track. This is I think to my recollection, it's a 1/18 mile track, so 18 loose, but I usually will have them open up with 3 laps, and then I'll use this finish line and the start line, which is at the other end of this straightaway. It's about, I think, 60, 75 feet to do an across the floor warm up, Frankenstein's, big lunges, hop drills, side shuffles. I'll use benches to do a modified La Sierra. A lot of kids are not going to be able to crank out a lot of the push-ups that we're asking for, especially in the beginning. Any of the older clients that have any issues with push-ups will give you the advantage. I will typically use the band. All right, this band. See if I can get this going, right? Come on, Will. All right, so this band has this loop that you can girth hitch it, right? So the girth hitch is where you come through, you open it up, and then you feed the band through. Mainly for a lot of the, horizontal pulls so that we don't stress out the back like in a bent over row. The older clients can carry over some med balls. I always use the metric of 13.3 pounds is the average shopping bag. So I'll give a kid 2 10-pound shopping bags and actually go the long way around, have them do a farmer's carry, stop intermittently to do some leg swings. So by the time we come around, we're ready to go, and we get into like maybe the La Sierra or an across the floor warm up, maybe some ball tossing with the med ball. And then I'll do this row technique using the bench, which is super substantial because it's bolted into the ground. This thing is not going anywhere. If you wanted to use this band as a press, I would try to stay away from the chain link fence because it's obviously a thinner gauge. If you don't have any other options, don't just rely on one link. I would go through a couple of links on the chain link fence and then girth hitch it that way. It's more substantial and it's more reliable that 2 pieces of metal aren't going to fail. So wrap around 2, or you can go into something much more substantial, which is this piece of metal. This crossbar, definitely you can get that press going. Right, but make sure that if you're using a link, use multiple links, right? Then just rely on girth hitching just one, just for absolute safety. The chances of this fairly new fence failing are small, but just be as safe as possible. That being said, the literal playground right next door to this open area. You can take some of the kids to do pulls. I can't imagine that you'll want to take an adult into that area, but if you want to do some GST holds, pulls and whatnot, there's a couple of spaces on that playground and you can use a timer and get it going. You just don't have that option in the bigger playground, but you do have the space. I use this playground for the kids. When I have a weight-focused outdoor conditioning class, I have one person at a time come up, grab whatever I want them to grab. So in this case, last week, everyone went up and grabbed 1 dumbbell or 2 kettlebells. And then I brought all the bands And we walked over here, did 2 or 3 laps as a warm-up run, got into a little bit of a dynamic leg swing, across the floor warm-up, and then I proceeded to kind of compartmentalize myself into one area, like this corner, which tends to be shady, and leg swings, front squat. One of the first circuits, for example, was a front squat with the kettlebell, push-ups, and then a skip to the far fence and back. Did a couple of rounds of that. Be creative. I just wanted to go over the safety and the safety protocols for the bands and the options of this particular location. This is the Tecumseh Playground, 100 yards from the entrance to the studio. Bingo. Hey, Will, again at the Tecumseh Playground. I do a couple of ball drop drills and medicine ball drills in this park, basically because we have the straightaway. One of the games that the kids really love, I bring a 6-pound and a 3-pound med ball. I have the kids start on the finish line, and I place the med ball at the base of this stanchion here, where you have 3 levels of baskets, and they have a minute to generate as many points as they possibly can. So the low basket is 1, the high basket is 2 points, the high basket is 3. So they're challenged to accuracy and produce power while having a game format. 4 kids, take your 4 minutes around. I usually do 2 rounds where I try to get them to compete with themselves, right? Hey, you did 30 points last time. Let's try to get 32. That's what we're trying to do. Okay? All right.